Rand Paul was at a gathering of conservative leaders in New Hampshire, and he was caught on camera making some very questionable comments about the social safety net. He said the following, quote, "The thing is that all of these programs, there's always somebody who's deserving. Everybody in this room knows somebody who's gaming the system. I tell people that if you look like me and you hop out of your truck, you shouldn't be getting a disability check. Over half the people on disability are either anxious or their back hurts. Join the club. Who doesn't get up a little anxious for work every day and their back hurts? Everyone over 40 has back pain." So that's a fairly specific claim that he's making, isn't it? That over half of the people on disability have anxiety and or back pain. So according to Rand Paul, you get disability for that. And the system is full of fraud. Well, okay, why don't we go ahead and look into that and see if it's true. Think Progress reports, quote, "Fraud in disability programs is estimated to amount to less than 1%, as the agency's watchdog has found. Its inaccurate payments rate is also less than 1%, compared to about 8% for Medicaid and Medicare. The benefits are also very hard to come by. Fewer than 4 in 10 applications are approved even after all stages of appeal. Medical evidence from multiple medical professionals is required in most cases to determine eligibility, which means showing that an applicant suffers from a, quote, severe medically determinable physical or mental impairment that is expected to last 12 months or result in death. The severity of the disabilities of those who get benefits is underscored by the fact that 1 in 5 men and nearly 1 in 6 women die within 5 years of being approved. Once on the rolls, payments are far from cushy. The average is a $1,130 a month check, just over the federal poverty line for a single person, and usually replaces less than half of someone's previous earnings. Very few beneficiaries are able to work and supplement that income. Less than 17% worked at some point during the year in 2007, but less than 3% of those people made more than $10,000 annually. So in other words, when you fact-check his claim, he's exactly wrong. This is one of those myths that's so incredibly pervasive in conservative circles, where they wholeheartedly believe, fraud, the fraud and disability is through the roof. Let me tell you, it's horrible. Really? Well, did you do any research on it? Did you look at any numbers? Or are you just going by word of mouth from conservative commentators? They just accept it. They just accept it because, I don't know, sounds like it'd be about right. Yeah, a lot of fraud in there. They say the same thing about SNAP or the food stamp program. You want to know what the fraud rate is there? 1%. Again, man, do a little fucking research before you talk about it. And also, I should add that the Democrats tried to increase funding to the agency that looks into waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicare and Medicaid. And what did the Republicans do? They said no. In fact, they cut the agency. Even when they were shown by the CBO, they said, hey guys, if you fund this now, it actually ends up paying you back more in the long run. This will run in the green. This program will run in the green because the more people you hire now, the more money you spend now, they're going to crack down on more fraud, waste, and abuse, so you'll actually net save money. The Republicans still said no. So the Democrats took this issue of fraud, waste, and abuse way more seriously than the Republicans did anyway. So all this rhetoric is irrelevant anyway. But the most important part is that it's wildly overstated. Look, they need you to believe this for ideological reasons because their entire political party is based on the idea that no, social safety nets are a bad thing. Social safety nets make people lazy. It disincentivizes people from working, and we pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, man. I mean, this is the kind of society that they want. But the problem with that is it's not true that this social safety net makes everybody lazy. Maybe 1% of people, but usually it has strict limits and parameters and not a lot of money, so people just use it as just that, a safety net. And when you take away the safety net, you have more people that slip into poverty, and it's worse off for families who need that net to fall back on during hard times when unemployment hits, for example. I mean, the idea that you just got to be strong, individualistic and stuff, man, that solves every problem. I mean, for fuck's sake, if you really believe that, then there's no such thing as like systemic flaws in the economy and business cycles. And, sometimes we have low unemployment, sometimes we have high unemployment. It's not like individuals were just lazier in 2009 when unemployment was 10%. What, now it's 5.8%. What happened? People just woke up and said, now I feel like working. No, the economy was cyclical and people got laid off and they wanted work, but they couldn't get work. But in the Republican mind, they say, no, when that person gets laid off, it's through moral failings of their own and there shouldn't be a safety net to fall back on. Well, motherfucker, they're paying taxes the entire time that they're working. So they're paying taxes to the government, and then when they fall on hard times, shouldn't their own tax dollars come back to protect them in the form of unemployment insurance or in the form of SNAP benefits or in other ways? Their ideology is flawed. People would not be more prosperous if you get rid of the social safety net. I mean, the countries that weathered the storm of the recession better are the countries that have stronger social safety nets. These are facts. So you have to stop overstating the problem and you have to stick to the reality, but they're not going to do that because, again, it goes hand in hand with their ideology. To admit that they're wrong on this would mean they'd have to reevaluate their entire belief system.